Hello, my friends. Welcome to Plumbob Academy. The Sims 4 base game was recently released for free, and it has brought in a huge influx of new players. And with those new players have been a lot of questions about a lot of the, what we would consider basics of the game. And I've noticed a lot of veteran players have been a little snippy about replying to some. You do have obviously your veteran players who are much kinder about it, but I think some of the veterans forget what it was like when we started playing. Now, when I say veteran, in my case, I have been playing Sims since Sims 1 was released about 23 years ago. I have played almost daily since then, and it's definitely a game that I feel like I know pretty well. That said, though, I also, to this day, still learn new things about the game that I didn't know. So there is plenty of room for all of us to learn, and plenty of things that I'm hoping that I can share with you, whether you're a new player or a veteran player. Now, the very first thing when you want to start a game is to actually start the game. A lot of people I have found don't know that you can actually have more than one save. When you first start up the game, I believe it was in this area. It has been a while since I've had a fresh start of this game. There's a large play button. And for that reason, a lot of people will miss this extra stuff here on the side. You can load that existing game when you come back. You can create a new game. And then a more recently added feature is these scenarios. The most common thing most people are going to do when they come back into the game or when they start is to hit that first play button or this resume button. Resume will take you immediately back into the household of the game, of the save, that you were last playing. So this is kind of a jump right in sort of button. This is actually a newer addition and probably one of my more favorite additions that they've made over time. This is not at all what this screen used to look like. So this is something they did right. I will definitely give them that. There's a lot to be said and a lot of criticism over how they've handled this larger area where it's a lot of, buy this, see this, do that, kind of a little bit of a showing off EA's more corporate side, I would say. So we'll be focused over here on this little quarter of the screen. If you want to start a new game, you would click new game. Pretty obvious. If you want to go back into a save that you've played once you've created some, you would click on load game. Now, I will let you know that it is possible to save multiple copies of one of your saves. As you can see, I've done that here. When you're in the game, you can choose to save and it will overwrite the existing save that you're on, or you can save as and it will create a copy of it. And you're actually able to name that copy whatever you'd like. Now, I will tell you from my personal experience, and I've seen others mention this, choosing to save as can actually improve the performance of your game. It is creating a new, cleaner save. I could not explain the real logistics of it because I'm not positive on that, but my game is currently 50 plus generations in, and it runs pretty smoothly compared to what I've seen others running 10 generations but choosing to just save on top of the existing save. So that would be my little bit of advice to you. We'll kind of go into that a little further in a moment. The scenarios are kind of a newer addition to the game, and these are kind of a way, if you're not sure what to do when you're hopping into Sims, it kind of gives you a place to start. It gives you a story, some goals, and there are a lot of options. At times, there's actually temporary or limited edition scenarios, and those are ones that are only available for a short time. We've had some only available for a week or so, and others available, much longer. I do think that they have made them available longer since there was some backlash, but these are great places to just get started. Each of them will give you a list of who you start with, and in some cases, like this one, you start with none. That means that you are able to create your own sim when you go into the game. And, this is one of your more basic ones, and they actually do list that on each of them. It's hard for me to point it out, but you'll notice it says the reward, and then below it will say the difficulty. So if you're new to the game, the beginner difficulty ones or the easy difficulty ones will be a great place to start, a great place to get used to or discover some of the things that are available in the game. If you want to hop right back into an existing save, you would just click the resume button here. That will take you directly into the household you last played, and it is a great place to go. If you want to go back to a specific save, or you want to go into the world and not directly into the household, that's when your load game option is going to be the best. And from here, you can click directly on, and it'll play, and it will bring you into the world. Now, one thing that's here that a lot of people are not aware of is your recover save option. As you're saving on top of an existing save. Now, in my case, to give you an example of what I mean by this, I save as only once per day. So if I play, like here, you see on July 11th, I saved as July 11th. On the 12th, I saved as 12th. I recommend saving relatively frequently. There is a history of the game crashing sometimes, and you don't want to lose days of play just because you forgot to save. And what my general rule is whenever we reach nighttime in the game, or whenever anything significant has happened, say a sim ages up or graduates from high school, those sort of things, I will do a quick save just to lock that into play. Now, here is the feature that a lot of people don't know about. All of those times that you're saving, it keeps a little backup here. So if something happens between those times that you've hit the save button, you're actually able to go back and recover that save. Now, it will not overwrite this existing save. It will actually create an additional save that you can go into. And now for probably the most exciting part for most people, the creating of a new game. There are two options when you create a new game. You can go through this kind of storyteller mode, and it will give you a series of questions to answer and help you create a sim. Now, when you do this, let's just go ahead and do this real quick. We're going to start with the question of what age am I. You will find that the majority of people start with young adult. It's kind of the nature of the game. I think that is the most active and version of the game. It has the most going on for it, so you're more likely to do more with your sim. We are all hoping for more for elders and the other. We have seen a lot of improvements in that over time, but we're still hoping. So each of these questions that you come across, you will find different questions every time you go through this. And if you don't like the question that you got here, you can actually just click new question and it will give you more. And you're going to just go through the series of questions. So I've got a pile of documents stacking up. What do I do? Well, think about what the sim you might want to create, or think about just what you yourself would do. So say I'm the organizing type, I'm going to sort them out. From there, you get your next question. What am I doing in the mountains? Relaxing with family, it's where I live and work, or tearing up the bunny slopes. And depending on the games you have, this is from Mount Komorebi, which is the one of the expansion packs. So you're more likely to see, in this case, if I say it's where I live and work, that's going to be where they actually put us. I'm going to say that she's a bit of a climber. What approach do I take to my job? She to me, we're going to say is a relaxed person, so it's a means to an end. And you'll notice as we're answering these questions, things are getting checked off over here. We are determining some of the features of our sim. So we're just going to, it's close to the water. As a person myself who can't swim, I think staying dry is going to be where I want to go. Trash all over the beach. Oh, I'm definitely an eco type. And I'm traveling abroad. Yeah, I definitely want to see the sights. As a child, I wanted to work. Oh, definitely for myself. I mean, we're just talking about me now here, I guess. But let's see. My child has a recital tomorrow. How do I prepare? Make sure I have film, help them practice, or tune my violin for a duet. That's definitely not me. Okay, and as you can see on the progress bar here, we're almost to the end. I would definitely be making sure I have film. Does anyone use film these days? I'm not sure. And there you go. We have our sim. From here, it'll just say, nice to meet you. We get to decide from here what the gender is. You can choose male or female. But from there, we have a whole variety of options. A lot of people miss this, so I just wanted to show that off. You can choose whether it's a masculine or feminine framed sim. You can choose their preference, and this does not necessarily have to match. None of these have to match. And the world of Sims is very diverse, so your Sims kind of get to decide who they are in whatever combination that you'd like. So we could have a feminine Sim who wears feminine clothing, but they are more likely to be the one to get someone pregnant. Or they could, it's up to you if they produce milk. Now, this becomes important if your Sim is having children. There is a breastfeeding option. So you choose there. And for the standing at the toilet, obviously, the males tend to stand to pee, but if they have to poop, they actually sit down. And females always sit down, or feminine Sims, I should say. And then you also can choose your sexual orientation. So you choose, and the default for Sims is that they are basically attracted to either or, and they're always open to exploring. So we're going to make this Sim attracted to men. She will be exploring romantically, and if you have any doubts on what it is, a lot of times there are little prompts like these. So if she is only attracted to men, then she will not actually consider women at all if you were to choose no. If you choose yes, she's still open, but this is her primary attraction. And again, it's the same thing with the woohoo with, so you have that option. Then you just check to set that in. Now, over here, well, I should explore here first. This is obviously the ages, and we are at young adult. When you're creating a household, you have to have at least one Sim who is young adult or older in order to continue. And here is one feature that is very often overlooked, and that's the walk style. So as your Sim just walks around the world, they will have different looks, and some of them are admittedly very goofy, and you can see some of them even more so from the side. They're just a little over the top. But I do enjoy just some basic walks. I wish that we would get more of these, to be honest. And then here, we have the option to adjust their voice. Now, I actually have my settings. Let me just turn up my audio. And this is something that we will get into at another time, but I'm going to commit that, and hopefully that will help us to hear. Okay, so you can adjust their voices here based on what you want, and again, another often overlooked feature. Now, for the storyline that we did, it ended up locking in these positions. Now, typically you'd only have 3. I apologize for this. I do have a mod in that adds an additional 2. You would normally not see that unless you have the same mod. So these are all locked in because of our story option. If we were not doing the story option, we are actually able to go in and edit these and choose our own. Up here, we can choose the name. Now, if you're struggling for names and you don't have really a particular favorite in mind, you just have to hit this little dice, and we will have lots of options here just to, set us up. In here, we can also change the pronouns. One really great option here is the custom pronouns. It's a chance for you to really get in there and customize it down to your own preferences. And then we can also click on her. And another often overlooked option is the ability to add additional outfits. A lot of people think that there's only one outfit per category, so this is just another little thing to be aware of. So if you click plus, it will create a duplicate of the outfit, and then you can go ahead and change that. And we'll just kind of quickly throw some clothes on here. Obviously, she's not the greatest looking sim right now, but we can go back and forth between the outfits and add up to 5 per category. So we have the everyday, the formal, the athletic, the sleep, the party, the swimwear, and the hot and cold weather. Each of those categories can have up to 5 outfits. And your sim, when they change, will just randomly choose one of the outfits appropriate to the weather or the situation at the time. Now, we also have these styled looks. This is another option that can be pretty frequently overlooked. So when they release a new pack, they will provide a styled version of some of the items offered. And when you click this, try this style, it will automatically put that entire outfit on your sim. And those options are available for every one of the categories. The customization is probably one of the best parts about Sims 4, the ability to click on any feature and drag it however you'd wish. And you can really get in there with your detail edit mode, and that allows you to click and drag on certain features more closely and adjust them. This is kind of a feature that I would say it is best to really just get in there and start clicking around and exploring. Now, you would right click to turn your sim, left click on a feature and drag it how you'd like, and you can make some very fine-tuned adjustments. And if you are one who is willing to use mods, there are multiple slider mods that allow you to get in and make even more detailed adjustments. And it's really nice to be able to create the exact sim that you want. It has made it very possible to make sims that represent nearly everybody out there. Okay, and for those who don't really have a particular idea in mind and they want to just randomize things, there's even more opportunity to randomize. Down here is another randomize button, and if you click that, it will literally randomize everything. There we go. But you can fine tune that also. Say we just want to randomize her skin tone. We can do that. We can randomize the clothing. We can even randomize the voice, the face, all of it. We have definitely seen the options there. And you will find this randomize option available on almost every feature. You can randomize the hair, you can randomize the clothing, and you can even randomize things like the makeup. So each section of the makeup can also be chosen. It's very easy and actually is a really fun challenge to do, is to just randomize every feature of your sim and see what is created. Sometimes it's quite hilarious. And over here, obviously, there are going to be times you want to play with more than one sim. This is definitely up to your own play style, and I think in my experience, I've seen that most people will start with 1 or 2 sims. They want to get into the world and find another sim that way and build their families or their storyline from there. But a lot of times you want to create a family before you go in. So you have tons of options. Now, this is going to depend on the packs that you have. If you have pets, you will have that pets option. There's also the occult sims options, and those will all depend on which ones you have. You will have vampires, aliens, mermaids, werewolves. I believe that's everybody. There's also the genetics option. This is probably one of my favorites. there is the add a sim from the gallery, and when you click this, it will actually open the gallery. You can go and explore sims available on the gallery, and the genetics option, as I mentioned, is one of my favorites. Okay, when we play with genetics, we are given an option here of creating her child, her sibling, or her parent. This is a great way to very quickly create a family. So if you had both the male and female sims, or the female and female depending, or two sims that are able to create a genetic child, however your settings are, arranged, you can do that here. So we have no other sims in the household, so it'll be a random sim at this point, and we can choose the age of the child. As long as the child is younger than the parent, you can go all the way on up to the older adult. You can randomize here, and we'll just do that real quick. And so you'll see just a sim, and you can choose again which age, and then we will go ahead and let that set, and we'll just say that we're done there. Now, here we're getting a chance to look at the aspirations for children. We have lots of options. Again, depending on the packs you have, you will have more. This one came from the most recent Growing Together pack. I'm just going to quickly randomize just to get us going here. Now, as I mentioned, she didn't have a father here, so we can actually do that again with genetics. Okay, as you can see here, you can create her sibling or her parent. In this case, we're going to create her parent. Now, this is where you can choose whether that other parent is male or female. In our case, we're going to go with a male sim just to kind of get a male in the mix here. And then you just click done when you have chosen the father. And again, with each of these, you're going to have your options to randomize or to pick and choose each of the options. Now from here, we have additional sims, so we are able to actually set up the relationships between Shivani and her family members. Now it has already said daughter because we genetically created that way. And we can set Warren as either her brother, which would be a whole weird story, her husband, or her fiance. Or we can just leave him as a household member. This would allow you to create them as a romantic interest but not married. I do really wish that we had like a boyfriend or girlfriend type option here, or romantic interest or something along that line. We're going to set him as husband. If you have the Growing Together pack, you will also have the family dynamic options. This kind of determines the type of relationship that is between like Shivani and her daughter. So we will say that they're close, and perhaps her and her husband are having a difficult time. All right, from here, once you have your family created and everything is set how you'd like it, you can save this household. Now, the option available for you is either to your own library, or you can actually add it to the gallery. So here you do your editing. In my case, because I have 8 million mods or so in my game, it will point out that I have modded options. When you're in the gallery, you can actually choose to see modded or unmodded sims and building slots. Now, there's 2 options here. You can upload it to the gallery just by clicking there, or you can save it to your own personal library and it would not be available to the public and kept just for you with the save to library. If you're uploading to the gallery, I definitely recommend a description. Hashtags are super helpful. So if there's something special about this family, or if say you watch YouTube videos and a YouTuber has asked you to upload something to the gallery for them to use, a sim or something, you would put that hashtag that they've given you into the description here. Once you're ready with all of that, you just click play. It will give you a little preview of your household. You can actually randomize the portrait here, and it gives you a last-ditch opportunity to share it to the gallery. Then you click check. Now, what comes next is going to vary depending on which packs you have. If you have the seasons pack, you are going to be given an option of which season you would like to start in. Now, it's going to depend on your storyline, which one you want to start in. I always tend to prefer spring. That could be because 99% of the time when I'm starting a game, I'm doing a rags to riches style. That means that my Sims are going to start with absolutely nothing and move on to a blank lot, and that's going to be the end of it. Now, this is your world selection screen. You want to choose where your Sims are going to go. We're going to take them, I guess, to Oasis Springs. Now, from here, anything with green is what your family can currently afford. The funds that they have been given are based on the number of Sims in your game, or if you did the storyline option like we did, you will get various starting funds based on the answers that you gave and what kind of story that you've set up. So we're going to hover over these. Now we have a family of 3. It is possible for us to edit the households, and with these starting funds, we probably will need to. But if you hover over, you can see that each tells you how many bedrooms, bathrooms are in that house, how big the lot is, and how much money it's going to cost. That is the furnished price that you're seeing. If you actually click on one and you choose to move in, you will be given the option to move into it furnished, unfurnished, or completely bulldoze the lot. So if you're just starting out, your best bet is probably going to be to go to a furnished lot until you get more comfortable with the building tools. And here we are. We have moved our first family into their first home. That will be all for this round. I think I've yammered away at you for far too long, but this probably took more to explain than it takes to actually do. Although I will say, if you're like me, when you get into Create a Sim, that's the part where we just came out of. Short, it's known as CAS by a lot of people. You can get kind of lost there for a bit, making the Sims exactly the way you want. Don't feel bad if you spend an entire day doing that. It is not unheard of. Definitely something we've all done at least once. So in the next Plumbob Academy, I think we will take a look at some other features. Just leave comments below if there's anything that you would like us to specifically look at. But until then, thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a wonderful day.